Welcome to the tutorial for Google Sites Novice Level. First off, we're going to start out by navigating to sites.google.com, and we're going to log in with our Wake County email address, and our default password is your employee ID number. You may have a conflicting account, so make sure that you don't have anything in that drive unless you've already used it. We're going to start out by creating a website from scratch, so I'm not going to use any sort of template for this one. You may have used a template for a class website before, but we're going to start out totally on a blank template. Also, it's worth mentioning that I'm using Google Chrome, which works the best by far. Firefox and Safari work pretty well also, but Internet Explorer usually is going to give you trouble. So let's start out by creating a new page on this website, and that's this icon here that looks like a document. And I'm going to have some images and video that we're going to embed here. So I'm not going to get too fancy. I'm just going to go ahead and click on Create as it is, and we'll work from there. Before we get started with that, notice that when you first create a page, you automatically get sent to the editing platform. But before we add any images or video or embed anything, I'm just going to add a link to an outside web page to show you how to do that. So I just really quickly copied and pasted the link for my classroom website, and I typed in the title there. In order to link that text, you just highlight it, click on the hyperlink icon, and because this is an outside web page, I want to click on web address to paste that in. Okay, so that's how you link an outside web page. The next thing we're going to do is add a picture. So because this is a portfolio, I found a stock picture on here, and I love the copy image URL option because that's honestly the easiest way to add anything to a Google site, at least from what I found in my experience. So to add pretty much any element to your website other than basic text, you're going to click on the Insert button, and in this case we're going to insert an image. So you can upload an image from your computer, but I personally really love using image URLs. So I'm going to paste that in. Alternate text isn't a bad idea because if for some reason the image doesn't display, at least somebody has some kind of idea what your image was. Now that image defaults to be gigantic, so I'm going to make that a little bit smaller by clicking on the L. Now that that's a little bit more reasonable, I'm going to go ahead and save. And now I have a link to my website and an image that's been embedded. So now let's add a video. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and same button, insert video. Now this time I need to find a video. So I already found a video of cute baby animals, because who doesn't love cute baby animals? And I'm going to use that as my YouTube link. So as you can see, you can also find Google Video as well, but everybody probably uses YouTube. I'm actually going to change the title to cute baby animals because that's a little bit better than having it just say YouTube video. So notice that when you add this video, nothing shows up right away, but when I click on save at the top of the page, then it will show up and be live. So it's always a good idea to hit save before you freak out about anything. Okay, so that's how you would add a few things to your page. Let's create a new page, and this one we're going to call information just because it's going to have some random information on it. So here we're going to look at the difference between hyperlinking versus embedding a document, and also embedding a couple other things that are really useful. So I'm going to start out by going up to my browser, adding a new tab, and navigating to my Google Drive. So I already created a random test document, but it's really important here to note that you don't want to use this link that's displayed in your web browser because this is the editing link. That's not the one that's going to work when you want to have it embedded on your page or even linked to your page. So I clicked on share. Make sure you have it to where somebody can see it, but this is the link that you need to hyperlink to your website. Otherwise, it's going to ask people to log in, and it just turns into this whole big mess. You get 100 million emails, and it gets very, very frustrating. So to start out with, I'm just going to call this test document, and I'm going to link this the exact same way that I linked my web page. And if you really like shortcuts like I do, then Control K is the shortcut for hyperlinking something. Okay, so that's having a hyperlink to your test document. Now let's say we would like to see that document actually on the website. So I have the link already saved, but honestly I don't even need it because when I click on insert, The nice thing about Google and why I love Google so much is because all of the stuff in my Google Drive is readily available on my Google site. So when I choose document here, everything that's shared with my email address is readily available to be embedded. So site test is the same document that I just had, and I'm going to go ahead and click save. And again, you don't see anything just yet until you click save on the actual Google Sites part. So as you can see, I only had one sentence, and 600 pixels tall is ridiculously excessive. So I'm going to go back and edit that just to show you that you can change things after the fact. So if I click on the element I want to change and click on the gear icon, that's the properties icon, with some practice you kind of get the hang of how tall things should be. So 100 pixels should be about right. And I click save. And now when that document's embedded, all you see is that one sentence. You don't have to see everything else, but you can scroll down and see that the rest of the document is blank. Okay, let's add a calendar next. So we have to click on edit again. And to add something else that's associated with my Google account, I do the exact same thing. Insert. Now find the calendar option. I'm going to use my account calendar that's already available. And I'm just going to leave it as the default month, but I personally kind of prefer the agenda view, particularly when it's geared towards students. It kind of gives them a nice, concise list of what's really important. But when I hit save, now you can see that my calendar is there. And if I go to August, you can see that the traditional first day of school is in there because I added that the other day. And finally, let's insert a form, because forms are probably the most helpful thing that I can think of as far as Google Apps. They're my best friend. I use them for everything, especially things that are administrative. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so same deal. Insert spreadsheet form. Now I made a random form for that. And I'm just going to leave the size the way it is and click save. So the nice thing about this is you actually have things that are interactive on your website. So did you enjoy the video of baby animals? Of course I did, otherwise I wouldn't have added it. So I can actually submit my answer right there. Okay, the last place that you want to see here is Manage Site. This is where you can do a lot of tweaking with your appearance, your layout. You can add Google Analytics, delete the site entirely, and publish it as a template. Some of those things are addressed in the later tutorials. But let me just go back to the plain old sites page, and let's look at creating a site with a template this time. So we're going to browse the gallery this time, and schools and education obviously is probably going to be the most applicable to us. So there's already a couple classroom websites that show up. There's an eFolio template right there. There's one down here, there's a science one. But the educator portfolio template is also one that you might be interested in. Some of the references on my site that I have available are colleges that are having their student teachers create virtual websites and portfolios for themselves. So it's something that you might want to consider for your own professional development. Anyway, that's the end of the novice tutorial on Google Sites. I'm Abby Wood. I hope you found this helpful.